Hello everybody and welcome to SA Sociology Hub. My name is Thandeka Sivanyoni, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're part of the Hub Collective, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I know it's been a while, you guys. I just wanted to say thank you for 4,300 views that you have given to us, and thank you to all 346 of you that have subscribed to our channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can receive notifications. And thank you for helping us grow. And I would like to request that you engage with the content, comment, share, like, so that we can have more reach. So first things first, what is a research problem? It is basically a question or an issue that you want to explore. A research question is an issue that you would like to explore. So it is basically a question, not just any question. It should be something that is clear and focused. It needs to be researchable with available data and methods. And importantly, it needs to be meaningful, meaning it needs to contribute to knowledge, to understanding, or social change. So we cannot waste money on just anything, right? And so the first thing that you want to ask yourself, yes, you might be questioning something, but you would also have to find out, what do I want to research? Where will I find research participants? How will this add meaning or contribute to knowledge, to understanding? Whether will this even add to contribution or to social change, to knowledge production or to social change? And this is why it is very important for you to read about your topic. Yes, you have this question that you want to explore, but it is very important for you to read about it before you consider it a research topic, right? So you want to explore and find out if there are any other researchers that have gone through your question or parts of your question, and then you can move on to the next stage. You might be wondering, but where do I even begin? Where do I even begin to search for ideas or to find a research topic? Well, there are a few places that you can start. The first one is your personal interests or your life experiences. And this can help you expand on your life experience, especially understanding where you are in society and whether other people are experiencing that, or bring about awareness regarding a certain experience. However, I think it is very important to be aware of doing research topics with using our life experiences, right? As a researcher, you would need to be aware of, you're in and out of the experience, meaning you would need to be aware of your thoughts and how you're driving the research, because you might want to drive about a certain point using your own experience, which can be very subjective, right? So the second place that you can come up with a research topic, it is by looking at social issues in your community, the current news, politics, or the trends. Or you could even look at previous studies. What is missing? what needs to be explored more, So you need to ask yourself this question. Okay. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, what topic could I read about for hours without getting bored? Because research is a lot of hours, right? And so you want to also find what issues frustrate me or makes me curious enough to investigate. It's doing research is not just about driving a certain political stance. It is also about exploring things that you did not believe or that you do not believe in. So if you are curious about religion and other races or whatever that is not where you are, then that would also be a good start. What makes a good research topic? You don't want a research problem that your supervisor will say, no, this needs refinement. No, go back. No, this is not accepted. Oh, you don't want that, right? And so there are 5 points that you can look at that a good research problem usually has. Is your research question specific and understandable? Is it clear? Number 2, is it relevant? So the second thing that you want to look at is relevance. Does it matter to society? Does it matter to a community or a field of study? Because you don't want to conduct research and it's not helping anyone in any way, right? Is this feasible? The third thing, is your research feasible? Can you study it with time? Will you be able to have the budget for it? And will you have resources to conduct your research? For example, research is not just about asking questions. You have to have airtime if you're going to conduct it via phone call. Airtime to speak to people, to speak, if it's going to be in person and in different provinces, will you be able to, how are you going to travel? Do you have the means to travel? Can you drive? All those things. So you need to look at the feasibility of your research question. The fourth thing is originality. Is there something new here or something unique about your angle? And lastly, is it researchable? Can you collect data to answer it? If you don't want to meet up with people, can you use desktop research? Is there a database that you can go through, that you can find your answers? And so those are some of the things that you need to be aware of. So here's an example of a specific research topic. How do unemployed youth in rural areas experience government support programs in South Africa? Right. It is specific because it focuses on youth, unemployed youth in rural areas. And it speaks to them having access to support programs where in South Africa. And so the South African part is broad in that you would need to maybe look at different provinces and compare by province, by gender, by race, and all of that. But ideally, this question is clear, it is focused, and it is researchable. Here are a couple of tips that have helped me over time to come about with a research topic. Firstly, you start broad. And then you narrow down as you read and reflect. So as I mentioned, you would have to first, before even coming up with a research topic, you would know what you want to research, but you would have to read and find out if there are any other researchers that have gone through, that have conducted this study, right? So you start broad, read, and reflect. And then you turn your findings or whatever your interest into a question. Then you discuss your ideas with others, like your friend, your mentor, or your supervisor. And then you write down a few drafts of your question before you settle on one question. And this is it's not about perfection, right? It's embracing the journey. One thing about research is if you're focused on perfection, you are going to be burned out and you will not be able to finish your research topic. So you learn and you change things, you write, you remove, it's a lot. But at the end, it's about the journey and not just the end, right? And you are allowed to revise your question as it goes, as long as it's still on the same pattern, right? Or it speaks to the same thing. Yeah. So that's it for this week. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, to comment, to like, and to share with people that you think would benefit from this video. And in the next week, we'll touch base on how to do a literature review without feeling overwhelmed. I know that can be a lot. But do let me know in the comment section, what is a social issue or topic that you think you would like to research? I'd love to hear your ideas. See you again next week. Bye.